Hi everybody, welcome back to another weekly craft video. My name is Tori, I'm your Makerspace librarian and I'm here in the Whitewater Public Library's Makerspace. The library offers a new take and make craft kit every week. Just stop by the library, grab your kit, and follow along with the craft video. All of our videos can be found on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any library events. You can visit us at whitewaterlibrary.org for links to our social media pages, updated library hours, and information about upcoming programs and events. This week we have a craft that is geared towards adults, but anybody who wants to participate is welcome to. We are going to be making these nautical jars, or kind of ocean beach themed jars. As you can see, I've decorated this jar with like a fishnet design, and it's decorated with some seashells as well. So these kits are going to be available March 22nd through 27th. So stop by the library, grab your craft kit, and I hope you enjoy this activity. Let's get started. Alrighty, let's take a look at what we're gonna get in our craft kit this week. We're gonna get a jar with a lid, some jute, and some different seashells that you can use for decoration if you choose. At home, you're going to need something to measure with and some scissors. If you have a hot glue gun at home, you might want to use it for this project. But if you don't have one, don't worry about it, you don't really need it. The first thing that I'm going to do is take my jute cord and cut 6 30-inch pieces. So I've already measured this piece, it's 30 inches long, so I'm going to use this piece to cut 5 more pieces of the same length. Take your 6 pieces of 30-inch cord and set that aside. You should have some remaining cord left over. So take some of that and wrap it around the neck of your jar, just like this. We're gonna tie a double knot. But you want this piece to be pretty loose around the neck of your jar. Tie your knot tight, but make sure that the loop around the jar is loose. We want it to be loose because we're going to be tying knots to this loop right here. I'm going to leave these little tails on here and I'll trim them at the end. Now we are going to start making our fishnet covering for our jar. Take one of the 30-inch pieces of jute that you cut, double it in half, just like this. Take the loop and slip it under this loop right here around the neck of the jar, just like that. And then feed the ends of the jute through the loop that you've just created. And pull until it's pretty tight. You don't want to pull too tight because you want to be able to move this piece around the neck of the jar later. So just leave it like that. We'll move on to the next piece. Double the cord. Slip this loop underneath the neck of the jar here. And then put the ends through this loop and pull. And we're going to do that until all 6 of our 30-inch pieces of jute are connected to the jar. Now I'm going to move these different pieces around the jar until they're all equally spaced. Now we're going to start tying our knots. This is kind of similar to macrame. So these pieces of cord coming off the jar are sort of clustered in groups of 2. So you don't want to tie them to their partner, you want to tie them to their neighbor. So you want to grab 2 pieces that are next to each other but not clustered together and kind of create this little Y shape here. And then when you're happy with where it is, you just want to tie a knot and tie those 2 pieces together and pull it tight. And before you pull it real tight, you want to kind of arrange it so that your knot is in the right spot and it looks similar to all the other knots you have going around. So once you're happy with it, you can pull it tight. And oh, I should have mentioned, it doesn't matter where you start. You can start anywhere along your jar. And now I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to find 2 neighboring pieces like that and go to tie them together. And I want to make sure that my knot falls in a similar place to where the next door neighbor knot falls. So I'm going to grab these 2 pieces, wrap the jute around my finger, create a little loop and pull through. And before completely tightening my knot, I kind of want to adjust it so that it looks similar to the knot or this section over here that I already made. So they kind of line up and are even. Just like that. And then once you're happy with the placement of the knot, go ahead and pull tight. And we'll move on to the next one. Grab 2 neighbors and tie your knot. Now we are finished with our first row of knots and we can move on to the next row. So again, it doesn't matter where you start, but you're going to identify you have these little clusters of 2 here. And so you want to find 2 neighboring ones and tie the 2 neighbors together just like that. And we're going to continue on working our second row of knots. And we have completed our second round of knots. Continue working your way down the jar until you get to the bottom. So once you've worked your way all the way to the bottom of your jar, grab an extra piece of your cord and cut a little piece and tie a circle that's just a little bit smaller than the circle on the bottom of your jar. And pull that tight. So just take your strings and tie it to this circle here. So first I'll tie one side and then I'll go to the opposite side and tie this one so that it kind of stays even as I work my way around. So once you have all the cords tied to the bottom circle, you can start trimming away the excess cords. All right, and then when you turn it over, it shouldn't be too bumpy on the bottom. Your jar should be able to stand up flat, just like that. Now I'm going to trim away these two cords here from the string I tied around the top. And there it is, your fishnet or nautical themed jar. Now, what you do from this point forward is totally up to you. You can decorate it however you want. Maybe you want to take some extra cord that you have and wrap it around the mouth of the jar. Like that. You can tie it or use hot glue. You can fill the jar with whatever you want. If you have seashells at home, if you have sand, if you even have maybe some pretty rocks that you've collected, you can put them in your jar. You could glue a couple of seashells to the outside of your jar, or you could glue a shell to the lid so that you have a really decorative lid on top. So it's totally up to you. You can decorate and display your jar however you like. Feel free to get creative. Here is my completed nautical jar. If you complete this project, please share your photos with us. We love to see how you get creative with these crafts. Thanks for watching. Bye.